long before her birth. The world believed the gods had turned away from the Emberwound Mountains. Once a cradle of divine presence, the land was said to have split open in wrath when a forgotten god, Orun, the nameless flame, was cast down by his own pantheon. His fire did not die. It bled into the stone, turning the peaks into smoldering spires and rift-split canyons. Volcanoes cooled, but never truly healed. Smoke whispered through the cracks. Runes once carved by priests now glowed without fire. The Goliaths who lived there, the Corside clans, learned not to worship, but to endure. They no longer raised temples. They raised warriors. Strength was law, oaths were stone, and mercy, if spoken, was spoken quietly. Vaunna was born beneath a blood-tinged eclipse on the coldest night in memory. The midwives said she did not cry. Her skin was ashen white, unmarred, strange. Her breath steamed the air as if her body was already fighting death. Her mother, a chieftain's second daughter, died in labor. Her father, Skorrval, named her Vaunna, meaning that which persists. She grew among the Corsaids' flame children, the youth of the tribe who trained to become stone-bound warriors. From the beginning, she was different. She scaled obsidian cliffs with bare hands, sat alone in the sulphurous vents, and carved strange spiral patterns into black stone, while she hummed lullabies no one remembered teaching her. The clan elders called her score-marked, a term for those fated to leave their people or die in madness. But her father, proud and devout, believed otherwise. He said her silence was not absence, it was listening. At age 13, Vaunna entered the rite of carving, a sacred trial in which each youth descended into the wound-heart cavern, the deepest chasm of the ember wounds. There each child was expected to spend one night alone, carving a rune into the stone to declare who they were becoming. Vaunna spent 3 nights below. When she emerged, her left cheek bore a glowing violet symbol that pulsed like coal in the wind. Her carving blade was warped and blackened. Her eyes no longer simply looked, they judged. She told no one what she saw, but the cave mouth steamed behind her for days, and her carving was later discovered to be the old sigil of Orun, untouched by any modern Goliath since the god's fall. The elders were terrified. Her father wept. Vaunna said only this: the stone spoke. The fire remembered my name. Years passed, Vaunna became a warrior, but never a leader. She was given tasks to test her loyalty, missions to protect the sacred cairns, to serve in border conflicts, to prove her strength. She obeyed, always silent, always watching. Then came the sacrilege at Spinehold, when a Corsad chief broke an ancient oath and allowed outsiders to mine ash glass from beneath a collapsed Orunian altar. It was a crime not just against tradition, but against flame itself. Vaunna said nothing. She simply disappeared into the night. Days later, she returned to the cairn. The miners were gone. The chieftain's tent had been cleaved in half. On the altar, now exposed to sky and storm, was a fresh carving, the rune of divine wrath, etched into bone and stone. She was exiled, not out of hate, but out of holy fear. Vaunna left the Emberwound Mountains with nothing but her weapon, her vestments, and the conviction of a god who no longer spoke to anyone but her. She travelled through lowlands and salt coasts, through collapsed temples and war-broken cities. People began to whisper of a woman in red and black, pale as marble, with a glowing mark beneath her eye, and a voice like smoke. They say she does not offer aid, only questions. Who did you betray? Whose bones did you bury? When did you last fear the truth? If you cannot answer, she carves the truth for you. In stone, in fire, in flesh, they call her. Flame that walks, judge unbound, ash wrought. And most commonly, the Ember Judge, Vaunna, does not pray. She acts. To her, every battle is a scripture. Every sin she punishes is another verse in Orin's return. She believes that only by carving judgment into the land itself, in ash, in stone, in silence, will the world be ready to hear her God's voice again. She does not recruit, but those who follow her path, scarred, wandering zealots, often carry her sigil burned into their shoulder or carved into bone pendants. They say she leaves no survivors, except those who might change. She is a warning, a sentence, a flame that cannot be quenched. She is Vaunna Skorrval, child of the mountains, daughter of silence, and first blade of a god that the world dares not remember.